begin our program. Good afternoon, everyone. We are so honored to have you here today to celebrate Harris County Precinct 4's Black History Month Luncheon. Thank you for being here. My name is Sion Rhodes, and I have the honor and pleasure of serving as Press Secretary and Director of Content and Media Relations for Harris County Precinct 4. And it's also my pleasure to serve as your Mistress of Ceremonies for today's event. So thank you for having me. Before we begin, I know that all of our hearts are heavy as we are mourning the loss of one of our civil rights giants. The Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away this morning. So I'd like to please ask that we all take a moment of silence, bow our heads in prayer and reflection on the life and legacy of the Reverend Jesse Jackson. May he rest in peace and power. We are so grateful and honored to be joined here by so many esteemed guests and distinguished officials. I'd like to call their names and have them please rise when you hear your name. State Representative Jean Wu is here. State Representative Lauren Ashley Simmons. Tax Assessor Collector Annette Ramirez is here. Judge Ashley Mays Geis is with us as well. ALEAF ISD trustee, Dr. Greg Patrick, thank you for being here as well. We also have a representative from Commissioner Adrian Garcia's office. Chara Bowie is here on his behalf. Thank you for being here. And to our distinguished Harris County department heads, and speaking of Black history, let's give it up for your new Harris County Administrator, Erica Lee Carter. Thank you also to Fire Marshal Lori Christensen, and Director of Harris County Public Health is here as well. Thank you so much for your service to us. Now, to lead us in the invocation, I'd like to introduce to you Reverend Jewel M. London. Reverend Jewel is on staff here at the Church Without Walls as pastoral assistant to Pastor Ralph D. West. A founding board member at the Texas Baptist Women in Ministry, she has ministered everywhere from boardrooms to death row, and she's advocated for women in ministry for over 20 years. Her desire, in her own words, is to simply seek and save the lost, offer hope to the hopeless, and healing and restoration to those who are broken. We are so grateful for your presence here today. Reverend Jewel London, would you please come to the stage?
Good afternoon. On behalf of our pastor, Dr. Ralph Douglas West, and the entire Church Without Walls family, we just want to say thank you for being here today, and we certainly welcome you to our home. To Commissioner Briones, thank you so much for hosting the Black History Luncheon here at the Church Without Walls, and we are just extremely excited that we can be a part in serving our community. Let us pray. Oh, gracious and eternal God, we come before you with grateful hearts, mindful of your sustaining grace across generations. Today we gather to honor the rich legacy, vibrant culture, and immeasurable contributions of the Black community. Stories of perseverance and creativity, faith and courage that have helped shape this county, this nation, and this world. We thank you for ancestors who endured hardship, yet held fast to hope. For leaders who spoke in the face of injustice, and for everyday men, women, and children whose quiet strength transformed communities and expanded the promise of liberty for all. We ask that you would bless this gathering and all who have assembled under the leadership of our Commissioner, Lesley Briones. May this celebration be more than remembrance, let it be renewal. Stir within us a deep commitment to equity, a stronger resolve to pursue justice, and a greater willingness to stand together in unity and mutual respect. Strengthen those who govern and those who serve. Grant them wisdom to lead with integrity, compassion. Remind us, dear Lord, that freedom is not merely inherited, but it is stewarded through our daily choices, through our collective voice, and our shared responsibility. Let this day inspire us to build bridges where there have been divisions, to speak hope where there has been despair, and to embody love that reflects your divine image in every neighbor we encounter. And now, oh God, as we celebrate the past and commit to a more just future, may unity bind us all together. In your holy and righteous name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Reverend Jewel London. And now to lead us in the Black National Anthem, please stand and welcome Kenny Miles, a member of the Church Without Walls Choir.
Please join in with a loud voice if you're familiar with the lyrics of this great anthem. to our God, true to our native land.
Another big round of applause for Mr. Kenny Miles, starting us off right. We are so thankful for this opportunity to celebrate Black history with you this afternoon. The strength, ingenuity, and dedication of African Americans continues to move our communities and our culture forward. This month is a time to recognize and highlight that Black history has never been limited to the past. It continues to shape our present and our future. Our theme today is Voices of Change. So today, we will highlight the incredible progress made because of those who came before us and examine how we can use our voices to create change that will affect generations of residents to come. And speaking of the power of your voice, we know that one of the most important ways that we can use our voices to drive change is through voting. And guess what today is? The first day of early voting for the March 3rd primary. Do I see some I voted stickers already? Who's got your I voted sticker? We're gonna get to it today. We urge you to exercise your hard-fought right to vote during this and every election cycle. Now it is my honor to ask you to please welcome to me your champion, your commissioner for Harris County Precinct 4, Lesley Briones.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm so grateful that you all took the time to be here today to celebrate Black History Month with my team and I. Black History Month is every month. It's always. Black history is American history. And I'm so thankful. First, I want to thank Pastor and First Lady West and our Reverend and all of the Church Without Walls families that are here today. Can you all please stand so we can thank you for opening up your home? Thank you for welcoming us here today and for opening up your home. Church Without Walls is one of my absolute favorite places of worship in all of Harris County because you feel the love. And it's palpable, and its commitment to justice is ever present. I also want to thank all of the elected and appointed officials. Can you all stand one more time so we can thank you for being in the arena? I also want to especially thank, you are going to hear from some unstoppable leaders. One of our role models and trailblazers and champions, Dr. Alma Allen, who has been fighting for our community, our state, and our country for decades. Thank you, Dr. Allen. Our A-Leaf ISD Superintendent, Dr. Anthony Mays. And Risha Thomas, our fearless leader of SEIU, who's fighting for working families across our great state of Texas. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to your powerful words. I also want to thank my Harris County Precinct 4 team members who make every day possible with their heart, hustle, and higher standards. Thank you. Raise your hand, please. Every day I love working alongside y'all and learning from you. So I know Sion started today with a moment of silence for Reverend Jesse Jackson. And I know we all have heavy hearts as we continue to lose giants who have shaped what this country is, who have been on the front lines for decades in the fight for justice. They are the giants on whose shoulders we stand and whose shoulders we must continue standing. They are trying to erase our history. They are trying to divide us. They are trying to tear us apart, but they will not win because we are on the right side of history and we are on the right side of justice. And I believe that it is through unity, by coming together, that we become even more unstoppable. I was looking up some of my favorite Reverend Jackson quotes, and one of them is, "At the end of the day, we must go forward with hope and not backward by fear and division." They are trying to sow that fear and division, but we will not stop them because we are unstoppable together. And so I have all these ideas and things I wanted to share what Harris County is doing to serve you, but I will, in the interest of time, I can't wait for the panel, but know that we are here to serve, that we are here to listen, that we are here to learn, and that we are a local government that believes in the power of we. We are a government that believes that our diversity is our strength. We believe that Black history is American history. We believe so deeply, and I say this not only as a proud Latina, but in DEI it means definitely earned it, and they will not erase and divide us. They will never divide us. And so I thank all of you. I look around this room and there's so many community leaders, activists. Thank you for being on the front lines of advancing opportunity and justice. We're in this together. We are unstoppable together. And I would like to end as we honor, if we can take one more moment of silence for Reverend Jackson. And if you can join me, one of my other favorite quotes of his is, "Keep hope alive." So can we say that together so loud that he can hear us in heaven? Ready? Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. One more time, louder. Keep hope alive. We will and we must and we will prevail. Happy Black History Month.
Let's hear it again for our Commissioner, Lesley Briones. Now for our Voices of Change panel, a dynamic trio, I should say, that we can't wait to hear. I'm gonna first call to the stage, and please give a warm welcome to our representative for Texas House District 131, Dr. Alma Allen. First elected to the legislature in 2004, Representative Allen has served Southwest Harris County for more than 20 years. She has made her mark as a long-standing advocate for education, criminal justice reform, and environmental protection, spending each of her last 9 terms on the House Public Education Committee and serving 3 times as the panel's vice chair. Before her 11-term tenure in the Texas House, she served on the State Board of Education for more than 10 years and began her career in education as a teacher and later school principal in HISD. She retired from HISD after 39 years to then serve as an adjunct professor at Texas Southern University and Prairie View A&M University. Let's give it up again for Dr. Alma Allen. Let's also welcome Alief ISD Superintendent Dr. Anthony Mays. Dr. Mays is known for his leadership in public education, commitment to student success. Over the course of more than 20 years, he served as a classroom teacher, principal, and administrator within districts across the state of Texas. Last year, he was chosen as one of only 19 educational leaders around the country to join the 2025-2026 Yale School of Management Fellowship for Public Education Leadership. This prestigious program focuses on transforming public education through innovative leadership and evidence-based management practices. Dr. Mays also serves as chairman of the Texas Alliance of Black School Educators Central Office Commission and is a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated, 100 Black Men, and the Texas Association of School Administrators. Please give it up again for Superintendent Mays. And last but not least, we are excited to welcome Executive Vice President for Service Employees International Union of Texas, Risha Thomas. Ms. Thomas is a community organizer with more than a decade of experience uplifting working residents and fighting for voting rights. Ms. Thomas has led the SEIU Texas Houston Airports Division, which organized 1,700 airport service workers, and increased wages for thousands of essential workers. She's also served as the vice chair of the Planned Parenthood Texas Votes Board and secretary for the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists Houston chapter. A big round of applause for all of our panelists. Thank you for being here today. I'd like for all of you to start actually by reflecting on the legacy of the late Reverend Jesse Jackson and what he meant to you and the role that he has played in all of our lives. So I'd like to first start that with Dr. Allen.
I didn't remember what you told me to do at first. Just introduce myself?
Oh, well, yes. You can introduce yourself and also reflect on the legacy of Reverend Jackson, if you don't mind, ma'am.
I lived through that. I was one of those, I'm telling you. He was one of my admirers when I was young and growing up. Keep in mind, I grew up, I was born in 1939. Write that down. You can figure how old I am. And so I went to segregated schools. So I was there. I was born before TV. TV came out in 1952. I was born in 1939. And so I was there when they were marching with Dr. King, and everybody was fighting Dr. King. Don't you think everybody loved Dr. King like they do now? Sometimes they love you after you die. Same thing with Jesse Jackson today. They have opinions about you after you die and appreciate you after you die. So this morning, as we mourn him and say a word of silence, we also want to say thank you.
Yes.
These people gave their lives so that we could do what we do today. And so it's up to us to be the next Jesse Jacksons. Martin Luther King is dead, Jesse Jackson is dead, we are alive. And so we must do the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. Dr. Mays?
Good afternoon, everybody. I was actually born after TV, so so I got a chance to see Jesse Jackson, his life play out on TV as he led, marches across the United States, or as he ran for president. So for me, it's just a matter of him showing us that anything's possible. Again, if a black man can run for run for being president of the United States, then I can do anything that I put my mind to as well. So that's my fond memory of Jesse Jackson, and always being hopeful for what we can accomplish versus being pessimistic, not believing in what we can accomplish. So excited and appreciative of what he sacrificed for us.
I would say for me, growing up in the 80s, I remember him just showing us how to be bold and black and taking that with a sense of pride. So even in the organizing work that he did in the communities in Chicago, it impacted places like Houston and the work that I did, because it was like you can make a change right here in your neighborhood, and you can get together with your community to really make a difference.
Right. Thank you all. As you all know, the theme for our luncheon today is Voices of Change, and we know that each of you has had the opportunity to use your voices to advocate, educate, and fight for our communities. So can you talk to us? We've talked about the legacy of Reverend Jackson, but who else in your life or throughout history inspired you to be that voice of change?
I'd like to think my mother did that. Keep in mind, my mother was an educator. She grew up, for your purposes, my mother's from Old Ocean, Texas. Anybody know where that is? Swinney, West Columbia, all in there. My mother was from Old Ocean, Texas, all right? My mother then got to Houston because she would go back to the country in Old Ocean. How the people went back on Sundays to visit the old people in the country. And so she went back one Sunday, and she was, my aunt came to Old Ocean and said to my grandfather, in those days you could do that legally. She said, give me that gal right there. He said, take her. He took her, brought her back to Houston. She took her, brought her back to Houston, and she moved to 3rd Ward, right behind Jack Yates High School on Rosalie Street. That's where she was living, so she went to Jack Yates High School in those days. When she finished Jack Yates High School in the 11th grade, she went across the street to
Texas Southern
College for Negroes. That's what it was named then, the College for Negroes. And then she got a master's degree. But when she got through being educated at Texas Southern University, she couldn't teach because you couldn't teach in white schools. You could only teach in black schools. And so most of the black people who were educated went to small towns to teach. And I'm learning from this. As she's growing up, I'm learning from this. Of course, I didn't really realize what she was going through at the time, but now at my age, I look back and I can appreciate it. But anyway, she went to Blanchard, Texas. Blanchard, Texas is 10 miles on the west side of Livingston. Anybody know where Livingston, Texas is? It's all over the news now. And so that's where she was teaching. And we walked 5 miles to the schoolhouse every day. That was championing. Black teachers did not get paid the same as white teachers during that time. This is a little Black history during that time. And so they would pay with chickens, they would pay with whatever. And then after a while, the Gilmer-Aikens law was passed, and then they got equal pay. Well, the same pay. They're not equal yet, all right? And so that was the same pay. I give my mother credit for everything that I am. She was a single mother of 5 kids. I'm number 2. I had 4 brothers. I grew up with 4 brothers and me. Yes, I can play basketball. Yes, I can fight. Yes, I can swim. Yes, I can swim in the ditch. Yes, I can do all of that, all right? That's my leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Allen.
So I'll start at the same place, similar place. My mom had me when she was 17, so it's actually my grandmother, who taught me, hey, love thy neighbor. And she exemplified that with everything that she did every day in terms of just taking care of our community and doing what she could for our community, those that had aged, that became our elders, that we wanted to go next door, make sure you take care of them. I had to make grocery store runs and everything like that for all the older members in our community, carry the groceries to their house and all that. So she was the first person, but then there are 2 other people that I highlight that come to mind for me. Paul Robeson being one. A lot of times people don't talk about Paul Robeson, but he was like your first Black Renaissance man. And not only did he believe that you could do everything, but he also showed you that you could do everything. So this man was an actor, a musician, he was a lawyer. He also played in the NFL. So he wanted to show you not only that as a Black man that we could accomplish and do anything, he wanted to show you all the gifts and talents that we come into this earth with. And then the last one is Booker T. Washington, who I always believed in. Hey, we can take care of ourselves. If you give us the tools and you give us the means, we can take care of ourselves. Oh, go ahead, clap. Give him a clap. Y'all go ahead. Yeah. Because we are not inferior in any way, and if we start out at the same place, you can imagine some of the things that we can accomplish. And so Booker T. Washington is one that I also like to hang my hat on looking up to.
Thank you, Dr. Mays.
For me, it's my great-grandmother, and she died when I was young, but she was from Waxahachie, Texas. She had a 3rd grade education, and the way that she took care of my mom and my mom's parents was by being a cook for families in River Oaks. She believed in education, but oftentimes I wonder if she would have been born in this generation, all of the greatness that she could have done. So for me, it's about bringing her voice into the rooms that we walk in. The folks who are service workers are oftentimes the ones who aren't listened to or forgotten about. But I think about my great-grandmother and how she had the tenacity to keep up, to move from Waxahachie, Texas during that time to Houston, to build a family legacy here, and that, if she would have been here during this time, how powerful she could have been. So that's who I think about often when I go into the different spaces.
And I know that all of your ancestors are very proud of you, so it means so much. Risha, this next question is for you. In 2025, you highlighted the challenge of organizing across Texas's massive and diverse Black populations. What were some of your biggest challenges and successes in mobilizing community members to get out the vote? And what are you doing now as we embark on this first day of early voting?
Yes, happy first day of early voting. One thing that I like to remind people, and I'm sure everyone in this room knows, that Texas has the highest population of Black people than any other state in America. It's right here in Texas. It's not New York, it's not California, it's right here. And what I found when we go and door knock and we talk to people is, one, there's apathy in the community. There are folks who say, well, if I vote, will anything really change? Then the second thing has been the obstacles to voting. We know how tough it is to go out and early vote, or oftentimes go and vote on election day. So the work that I do is about helping to fight those obstacles. I was just talking to my coworker. We're due a get out the vote, and we all connect on the Saturday of early voting, and we go as a team, we go as a group, people bring their families to just go and cast their ballots together. So when we do that, and then we have successes like Commissioner Briones get elected, and they see someone working on their behalf and making changes, that's when you really see people say, oh, my vote does make a difference, particularly on the local level, because they can see it at work. But that's really how we address it. We say we're going to go together, face some of these obstacles, and then through that, we see some wonderful changes that happens in the country.
Thank you so much. Dr. Mays, as we mentioned, you were selected for a very prestigious fellowship cohort for national education leaders. Talk about what global perspective you gained by that and how it's influencing your role now in shaping the next generation.
Sure. So I'll take a point of privilege. Those young men that just walked in, men of brilliance, you mind standing up so we can give them a round of applause? So those are A-Leaf ISD students, and really the work is about how do we tackle problems and be able to provide access to our students, and so that they get every opportunity that we're talking about to show everybody that, guess what, whatever it is that I want to do as an African-American male student or a minority in this community, I can do it if you give me the tools. And so it's really about trying to look at data and figure out what's working in communities across the United States, and then trying to scale those across this country to try to make sure, again, that all students, wherever they are in urban districts throughout the United States, get what we call the good stuff. And the good stuff is accelerated learning opportunities, again, more opportunities at bat so that they can take advantage of some of these opportunities to access some of these high-paying jobs that can close these socioeconomic gaps throughout our country. And so that's really what our work is about. It's about taking those solutions and taking those to scale across urban districts throughout the U.S.
Thank you. Dr. Allen, last year you were a vocal opponent of school voucher bills, arguing that they would burden low-income families. How do you believe we can maintain the integrity of public school funding, and how will that affect future generations of Black students in the Houston area?
I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is, I'm giving it to you first. The bad news is 2 election cycles from now, there will be no public schools. Let that soak in, and I know a lot of you in your mind say, well, how can that be? Yeah, we're going to have public schools. You are right now, watching the erosion of public schools. Right now, I know on the news, Fort Bend is wrangling over 12 and closing 12 schools. HISD is wrangling over 12 and closing 12 schools. The legislature this session put $1 billion in for, $8.5 billion in for education, $1 billion for vouchers, which I opposed the whole time. 100,000 people have applied for those vouchers. Every time a kid walks out of your school, $20,000 walk with them. Every kid is worth anywhere from $12,000 to $20,000. Over in the $20,000, if the child is special ed, if the child is limited English speaking, et cetera, he may be worth $20,000. So when he walks out of the school, he takes $20,000 with him over to a public, a charter or a private school. A private school, maybe. You think there are enough private schools out there waiting on your kids to come in? People are calling me now asking me where the private schools are. I only have one in my district, and it doesn't have enough seats for anybody. And so you think there are private schools out there just got empty seats waiting on your kid? No, they're not. And so, no, I'm opposed to vouchers. So when that kid walks out, 20 kids walk out. What else walks out with 22 kids? Come on, teachers, educators. 22 what? 22 to 1 is the teacher-pupil ratio, right? When that 22 kids walk out, a teacher loses her job. She walks out. Let 42 kids walk out too, all right? For a 62 kid, or 3 kid team. And so your schools are eroding. And I'm looking at schools in the neighborhood, and I looked at that list for HISD. The majority of those schools are in minority neighborhoods. Once your school closed down, your community closes down, your tax values get diminished, your houses are worth less. Nobody's moving in to a school district that doesn't have any schools. And so you have to be careful about, and I know a lot of you are looking for to send your kid over to the private school to get that $10,000. I have one private school in my district. It's Amani. The tuition is $30,000. When you get your $10,000 little check, not gonna be money, it's gonna be a letter, it's an invoice that says you have $10,000. If you take your kid to Amani, how much more money do you owe? And where's the bus coming from? You think they're gonna transport every kid from every little neighborhood over to the school? No, they are not. Where are these kids gonna go with that $1 billion? How far do you think $1 billion is gonna go in a state that has 5 million kids in the education system? Next year, guess what is gonna happen if you don't vote? The election cycle depends on what happens to your schools. Who's running the system? Who's in charge? Who's the commissioner of education? Who's the governor of the state? That's what you'll be voting for, and you'll be voting for your kids' schools to close down, your neighborhood to close down. And most of us have left our neighborhood. You left your grandma in Sunnyside with me, and then you went to Missouri City or wherever you went and diminished the neighborhood. Suppose all of us who had the means stayed in our neighborhood and run it, we would have the power. I'm opposed to vouchers today. I'm opposed to vouchers tomorrow. I'll be opposed to them when I'm with Jesse Jackson. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Allen. Dr. Mays, back to you. Last year, you held in-depth sessions with your Student Advisory Council. What's one specific change or concern brought to you by the students that actually shifted your administrative approach this year?
Yeah, we always try to start out listening, and Commissioner Briones talked about it. She does a wonderful job of that. I think that if you listen, our students or stakeholders will give you a guide or a path or a map to what it is that needs to happen. And so, unfortunately, we had a student that decided to take his own life. And so, in talking with our students, what they shared with me was one big thing they shared with me was that, when we have these crises, the counselors come and they're there momentarily, and they were like, hey, when the counselors leave, our problems are still here. And they really wanted to think about solutions around that. And so one big thing that came out of that is mental health counselors at our high school, because they share with us, they say, hey, we don't need a counselor that we can talk to about STAR tests or credits or stuff like, it's like, hey, I need to be able to talk to a counselor about breaking up with my girlfriend or not doing well in this class, because that's literally one of the reasons that the young man took his life. And so they really wanted somebody to be responsive to that. And so we have those mental health counselors on our comprehensive high schools to be able to meet those needs for those students. Another piece that they said was, I talked to them about scholarship. I was like, hey, why aren't y'all applying for these scholarships? But once we let them see the portal and give us feedback on the portal in terms of what's working and what's not, we went from $92 million in scholarships to a record for our district at $277 million in scholarships. So I feel like if we just listen to them, a lot of times, they'll come up with some crazy stuff too, but they will give you some actual practical solutions to help them take advantage of whatever it is that you are putting on the table for them.
Thank you, Dr. Mays. Arisha, as a leader within SEIU Texas, how do you think your advocacy in 2025 for essential workers advance economic justice and opportunities for current and future generations of workers?
When I think about the work that we did in 2025, one of the highlights was working with the county to pass a policy that would increase wages for folks who are contracted, working as either janitors, doing a lot of the service work in the county buildings. It really, we talk about increasing wages through that work. Right now in the state of Texas, federal minimum wage, does anybody know how much you make? $7.25 an hour. So the Texas minimum wage is the same as the federal minimum wage that has not increased since 2007. And what we found, according to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology study, is that people need about $21 to make $21 an hour. If they are a single person, if you have kids, you need about $25 to $27 an hour. So if you work one job that pays $7.25 an hour, how many more jobs do you need in order to survive, right? I'm counting, and I think I get to 4 additional jobs in order to cover it. So with this policy, it raised the wages up to at least $21 an hour for folks, which is huge, right? And it's connected because we know that the cost of things continue to go up every year. I know every time I go to Kroger, I see eggs and milk and bread. You know, I look for the sale, but those prices still increase constantly. So we worked with the county to ensure that we didn't just set one wage at 21 and forgot about it because each year it increases. But you know, it's more money in folks' pocket, but that also means when I sit next to you, Dr. Mays, that means parents may not have to work a 3rd job. It may mean that they can come and support you. They can go to Austin and they can talk about the issues that they care most about, right? So not only is it about increasing wages, but it's about setting up a legacy in which, you know, it makes sure that parents are home and it makes sure that people have a little more freedom to do something fun in the neighborhood, right? So, you know, last year we were able to get that wage increase. That was something that I think about often. I know it went into effect last year, and we'll see an increase this year. But I think about all of the families and the lives that it impacts, because people should be able to make a good living doing a good day's work. And I may be crazy, but I think folks should have just one job, and they should have the rest of the time to do other things that they enjoy.
Amen. All right, Dr. Allen, our last question is for you.
Okay.
As you prepare to pass the torch.
Yes.
Oh, you're excited about that. What do you see as the most critical issue that the next generation of leaders must voice and use their voices for to continue the progress that you've built these last 20 years?
Wow. This is my 22nd year in the legislature. I've done 21. This is my last one. I don't go out until December of this year. We must prepare the next generation. I have 2 children. The first thing I'd advocate for you is educate your children. Send them to college. I don't care what it costs. If you have to have that extra job where it's $7.25, send your kids to college. First, you teach them how to earn their way to college. There are ways to do it. You can go, though. Go where they want you, not where they do not want you, unless you can play football. Don't do it. They're not going to let you get the degree. They do not want you at the school, and so you shouldn't be there. I advocate the HBUs. Send your kids to Prairie View, TSU, wherever. Send your kids there so they can get an education. We must teach not only our kids that are adult kids. My kids know what I do as an educator and what I do as a state legislator. And that's why I am really proud of my son who's running, for my seat. I would not leave it to anybody else. I don't think I would want anybody else to run for that. But you must educate your kids on the process of the legislature, and then educate yourself on the process. Many of you don't even know the process. But if you have a group and you want me to come and talk to that group about what goes on in Austin and the process, I will do it. Just get 2 or 3 people together. I will come and speak to that group. I'm stacking up books right now. They won't let me spend my budget on nobody to work in my office. I'm spending my budget on books so I can educate the public, and I'm going to educate any group that calls me at no charge. You just have to have me a bottle of water like this. And then okay, that'll help. I will come, okay? Now, if you live over on this side of town, you got to send for a car for me, okay? I'm not coming over here. I live in Sunnyside, Texas, all right? And so you must educate your kids on the process and get involved in the process. How many of you voted already this morning? You voted this morning. Okay, that makes my heart sad. It really makes my heart sad. But you're going to vote this evening, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're going to vote this evening. Okay? Now make sure you are an educated voter when you go. Vote for the right person. Vote for the right person. Now, you don't have to vote for some people in the audience that I say, stand up, Otis. He's running. He's going to be in the legislature. Stand up. Stand up, Lauren. These are going to be my co-workers. She's my co-worker. She's going to be there. She doesn't have an opponent because they're good already. Stand up, vote. Stand up, vote. Vote. Woo, I'm sorry, woo. They are awesome, and I want you to keep them in, but they can't stay there unless you vote. 3 elections from the day there will be no public schools. 12 schools today, 12 schools tomorrow. Remember when it was Wheatley and it was Cashmere Garden? And I tried to tell them, Philly is Wheatley and Cashmere Garden today and you tomorrow. Now they're working on everybody, okay? And they're putting money into the public schools and to homeschoolers. If you homeschool your kid, you can get $2,000 to homeschool your kid. There will be no public schools 2 election cycles from the day. If you don't get your president out and your governor out, you're going to... And this is your time to do that. This is the voting cycle to do that. We want Jasmine in. Vote for today, but put her in. We want Lawrence Allen in. All right, and that's what I recommend. Educate your kids. And when they go to the legislature, keep in mind, it's a job that you do for free. We make $7,200 a year. A year. Huh? Pre-tax. Oh, yeah. We pay taxes on that money. We pay taxes on the $7,000. And so you don't want to send anybody there that's running on the Democratic ticket, voting with the Republicans. Be an educated voter. Be an educated voter. Know who you are voting for. Not just because I told you. Know who you're voting for. Okay? That I want to leave with you. And so when they go there and they make $7,200, they got to eat, right? They got to sleep, they got to drive, they got to pay. It costs you to be a state legislator. People pay money. You got to get an extra car so you can go to Austin, all of that. It costs you to do that. We don't get paid the $175,000 and $108,000. Don't you never think that. And all of you who think, I pay your salary, I need a raise. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Allen, Dr. Mays, Ms. Risha Thomas. Give it up for our panelists. Thank you so much for your service and all that you do for our community. Now please welcome Commissioner Lesley Briones back to the stage for some closing remarks.
Can we give another huge round of applause for our panelists? Thank you, Representative Dr. Allen, Dr. Mays, Ms. Thomas. Thank you for your advocacy, leadership, and service. Who enjoyed the food? So can we give it up to Miss Esther and her team, a Black woman-owned business? If y'all ever need a caterer, there's Miss Esther. Thank you, Miss Esther, for partnering with us. And can we give another round of applause, please, to our Harris County Precinct 4 team members who made this possible? And to our Church Without Walls hosts, thank you so very much. Thank you, Pastor Dr. West, First Lady West. So I'll close with the following. As we leave here today, Voices for Change, we need to use our voices in voting and every other way. And we need to use our actions for change. Let us all be change makers today and every day as we celebrate Black History Month this month, as we celebrate Lunar New Year. Let us continue uniting across our cultures, across all boundaries. Because when I think about church without walls, we need to take down the walls of our mind, the walls of our heart. Here in Harris County, we do not have walls. We're breaking down barriers together as agents and voices of change. So one more time, if we can end with the words, keep hope alive, let's hear it up to heaven. Ready? Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive today and always. Thank you so much. Happy Black History Month.
Pictures here? They did. Yeah, they were pretty early.